You jinxed me.
Hi, Aaron.
You jinxed me.
Oh, it didn't turn on right away.
What?
It did. Yeah, it was a dramatic pause.
It's because I changed out that graphic during the thing, but then I think you jinxed me. I've never missed that before in 5 years.
Well, I think Evardy Construction and Bestway International appreciated that extra FaceTime, even though we got them right down there.
Right down there, exactly. You even pointed the right way. Hi, how are you?
Doing wonderful, doing wonderful. Not as great as you are, because what are you sporting? We call each other ahead of time to wear our baby blues together.
I think we should start matching everywhere we go. Really.
I think it's a good idea. I think that'd be fun.
We have a little Christmas party on Friday. Can you and Julie just send me what you're wearing and I'll just match?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Let's do red.
Let's do red for Christmas.
Yeah, be real.
I'm really sad this weekend. I know you're busy and I know you still bought a table and then you donated it, but I'm no longer a champion. I don't know if you know this, but my year was the biggest fundraiser ever for the most wanted Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we lost this year to the 2024 class.
Yeah, really big shout out to Gretchen Hayes and Melissa Seiler. They're two of my coworkers, and I just want them to sleep and rest. They worked so incredibly hard, nights and days, trading favors, making phone calls, kissing babies, and it was really cool to see everything come to fruition.
And I saw Evardy. The guys from Evardy were there. They were the same year as me. I don't know if you know that, but they were.
Yeah, no, they raised a ton of money. Evardy is a very, very huge supporter of Big Brothers Big Sisters. They've been doing it, I want to say a decade, 9 years they've been supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters. So way to go, Evardy.
They got one little I love when people get in those matches during the live auction. They go back and forth. So I saw Brian in one of those. It was fun. I went over. I'm like, I didn't know that was you till afterwards. They're such fun guys. So yeah, it was like who's who of KC. It was a lot of fun. It was a good event. 1.4 million plus they raised.
Jeez, that's crazy. I don't know how they keep doing it, but Big Brothers Big Sisters, just a little shout out. I think they're waiting for 183 bigs. Majority men are needed. So a lot of women typically volunteer, but not enough men volunteer.
Men and or couples, she said.
Yep.
They were on our show a couple of weeks ago. And then the other thing I was going to tell you is the only disappointing part of the night was I really thought I was going to a Tech 9 concert. And he said in a video, he was one of the guys this year, but
I know. I was looking for it on the photos online.
Because I bought a table with Shivani and Carlo, and I don't know why, but we were front row. And I was like, these are the best Tech 9 concert tickets I've ever had. But then he said in a video, so not the same.
You were front row next to the bar because they probably profiled you.
We were literally front row with our own buckets of alcohol on the tables. I don't know what Shivani pulled, but yeah, it was like Jared Keneally, that whole group. It was a good fun group. So you would have known a lot of people. But anyways, what have you been up to? This is our last show of the year.
Last show of the year. I feel like I'm finally timing out Kansas City right. So I try to pull back the throttle as the business community pull back the throttle, but I am not running and owning a marketing agency turning 9 years old. This is your busy time of the year. So it's more about you. What about yourself? What have you been up to?
You know what? My business is definitely busy, but nobody that runs a school administration watches this show, but could you guys send it to them so that they get this? Why do they put every school activity these last 2 weeks? Every school activity these last 2 weeks. And your kids are still little, but you'll see when they get a little bit bigger. I mean, every single night you have a school activity pretty much up until the holiday. It's insane.
Yes. No, I don't. I'm going to try to go to a lot of different parties all at the same time while going to kids' school plays. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's all I'm trying to do. All right, listen, if you are watching from Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, please let us know where you're watching from. Our good buddy, Paul, he's watching from Santa's Workshop.
Yeah, Paul.
I hope you bring those same jokes in 2025, Paul. I feel like I always think you're going to
Paul be like one of our first guests.
Is that Julie's water bottle?
No, I for some reason I have an orange water bottle because I want it to match the colors of our show.
Oh, I'm sure that's what that was. All right. If you're watching LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and let us know if you're watching live or the replay. And all right, so we have some awesome guests today. I think we should just get to the guests because nobody's here for us, honestly.
Let's roll.
Okay. Hey, 2025 goal. What's your 2025 goal?
It's to keep the same music so I can make you mad.
My 2025 goal is to change this music. It's exactly what I was.
Well, I'm going to ask you at the end of the show what your 2025 goal is, okay?
Oh, it's going to be change this music still. All right. Here we go. Absolute worst. 5 years in, I should have by now. And we have two amazing guests. Our first guest is Torree and Jeff. Welcome, guys. We're so excited you guys are here. We apologize for the music, but in 2025, we're going to have some great new non-cringy music.
You love the frat rock. It's awesome.
My favorite. All right, Torree, who are you? What are you doing? How do you get to Kansas City?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Torree Pederson. I'm a small town girl from Southwest Missouri who made my way to Kansas City to work in corporate finance and accounting 25 years ago. I live here in Kansas City, like I said, for the last 25 years with my husband and our two kids, two teenagers. And I currently, for the last 13 years, have run a local nonprofit, Aligned, which focuses on essentially aligning business leaders with the education leaders in our community and helping to solve some of the workforce issues that they're facing. So thrilled to do that work. As I alluded to before, I ended up in Kansas City following my passion in corporate finance and accounting, fell in love with Kansas City and its people, and in the meantime have built a life here and enjoy really just kind of staying engaged with the local community and doing the work that we do across Kansas and Missouri, engaging business leaders, lawmakers, and education leaders on the topic of aligning business with education.
Torree, for a second, I felt like you're going to break into a Journey song, just a small town girl. Don't stop believing. Talking about not stopping believing, you've been doing this nonprofit for quite some time. What are some more of the larger projects that the audience would recognize that you've been a part of?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we started this work 12, 13 years ago, my co-founder, Tyler Notberg, and I had the realization that this region was dead last in the country when it came to access to childcare. It happens to be my why. We'll get to that later, but childcare is a real issue for families, but in particular moms, and wanted to do something about that. First and foremost from a workforce perspective, but also just from an opportunity perspective for kids to get the best start in life. So we worked over the last 12 years to put about $600 million in early care and education. And that's in Missouri alone. And we are working on both sides of the state line to make sure that all families have access to a quality childcare system.
So what about some other projects outside of that? Because I feel like there's so much more that you're involved in.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we represent the business community, and on so many levels, business leaders come to us and say, hey, this is broken. One prime example, one of my members owns Holland 1916 up in the Northland and was trying to work with the local CAPS program about workforce development issues, including supply chain management. He tried to bring in someone from the Ford plant to teach supply chain management. I mean, who better? And was told we can't do that. So our team got busy, went to Jeff City, and worked really hard to make sure in Missouri we can now bring subject matter experts into the classroom to do those things.
Oh, I love that.
Man, I can't believe that took so long. That's pretty amazing and awesome.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, I'm obsessed. I have a pop quiz for you.
Mm-hmm.
When my son's now 18. When he was 1, how many in-home daycares do you think I went to until I found somewhere safe that I could afford as a single mom?
4 or 5.
17.
Oh my God.
And I would find them on Craigslist. I mean, it was a little bit different back then, right? But 17 before I found one that was accredited, that felt safe, that I could also afford. So I love what you're doing. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Jeff, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Sure. So Jeff Johnson, I'm the president of Xylinx. We're a TAS, which stands for Transactional Advisory Services and Accounting and Tax. Came here from California, originally born in New Jersey, but grew up in California. about 10 years ago, was recruited to start a similar practice inside of Mariner Wealth. And about 2.5 years later, decided to go out on my own and start Xylinx. And it's just kind of grown here over the last 10 years. And, we're excited to be part about Kansas City. And, from day one, I knew Kansas City felt more like home than California, being there for about 18 years. So that's why I'm still here.
Okay, I have a really quick question. Hold on. California, Jersey, and Kansas City. You kind of covered the map. Where do you feel like you said this feels like home, but where do you feel like your services, where people really value your services the most, like in the financial space? The coast or the Midwest?
We're actually geographically agnostic. We have a lot of clients come out of Salt Lake City, Miami, and here in Kansas City. That's where we have the most amount of clients. And that's just because you start into a network and word of mouth gets out there and say, hey, you need to use these guys. You need to use these guys. And so that's where we've had the most amount of success so far.
Jeff, what is your fastball that your clients love, that they use you the most?
It is that, so all of our team members are from a big four firm or a large regional firm. And so the quality is there. And so as long as you don't need the name KPMG or something like that, they find the quality of work is very similar and the price is about 2/3. We don't have the overhead. We don't have a million partners. We run a pretty lean ship. So that allows us to get those middle market clients.
For you, what was a surprise revenue stream that you weren't expecting?
So we have started getting clients into SEM, search engine marketing. We started using it internally, and we had some clients asking if they could use our services. They had seen the success, and that has been a very surprising piece. It's something that we're still rolling out and figuring out the marketplace, because people don't usually go to an accounting and transactional advisor for that kind of service. But a lot of the clients still ask what other things we can do for them, and we'll do online due diligence when they're purchasing a company, like, hey, this is where their flaws, this is where they could build their online presence, and we're able to help there. So that's been a little bit of a surprise.
That does not surprise me, because I think that, because that's in my space too, right? There's two very different pieces of that. There's like the numbers piece, and then there's the creative piece. And I've always said, like, if you have one person just running it all, right, you need that numbers people have to be there. So that doesn't surprise me at all, because that's just such a numbers game. So
yeah, we find that the people are very surprised to hear it and kind of refreshed.
Yeah. All right, Scott.
All right, Torree, what was the most pivotal point in your career?
Okay, that's an easy one for me, because back in 2008, when my oldest was born, I was working at Sprint in corporate finance and accounting with the intention of continuing a corporate finance career. She came in February, and much like yourself, I called the childcare facilities that I was comfortable with. And they said, yeah, you're number 2 or 3 on the list. Sorry, call us back in October. Talk about a pivot moment. So kind of panicked, had a conversation with my leadership team at Sprint at the time, and they offered me a buyout package. My boss said, come back in 2 weeks. We're going to offer voluntary separation packages. That'll give you a year to figure out what you want to do. And quite frankly, that was the biggest blessing and pivotal point in my career, because that's when I got to reinvent myself, start thinking about things that charge my batteries that I'm good at, and how I ended up working with the 2 co-founders that founded this organization, Aligned, and do the work that I do today.
So was it the biggest blessing because you get to be home with your kids, you reinvented yourself? Do you think if it would have pieced together better, it would have worked out as well as it has?
All of it. I mean, I think I would have been fine if I would have stayed in corporate finance and accounting, but this gave me the opportunity to, where my job is my passion. And to your point, I did get to spend more time with my kids than I probably wouldn't have. And I did get the opportunity to create impact in the community and not revenue on a bottom line, which was something that ended up to this day is what gets me out of bed and makes me excited to do the work that we do. Really just trying to make sure that all the kids in the Kansas and Missouri communities can hit the ground running.
I have a question. I think that I often say that I don't know if I could ever be a stay-at-home mom because I'm just like, go, 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 go. How was it mentally all of a sudden being like, wait, this is all I'm doing, when I was trying to figure out how I was going to do all this? Not that this is all I'm doing, but taking yourself out of your identity of a corporate. What was that like?
Extreme culture shock. I lasted 6 months, by the way. Started having lunches with my coworkers from over the years. And that's actually how I met my two co-founders. She said, hey, you might meet these two gentlemen. They're interested in the same things that you are. Yeah, I lasted about 6 months before I started doing part-time nonprofit work. And it was definitely something to take yourself out of a culture and almost a passion in that regard at the time, and go into something I didn't know anything about.
Although I find it very fascinating that every woman in Canada gets a year off, right? And all of my Canadian friends seem very happy with that. So it's just always, quite a culture shock. So awesome. All right.
Jeff, what is the most pivotal point in your career?
So I took a couple years off from being a consultant earlier on in my career, and it allowed me to see how corporate world works versus being a consultant, and it really opened up my eyes on solutions that are needed, how to be a better consultant, a lot of the problems that people are having and just don't speak up or don't even know that there's solutions for. So taking those couple years outside of consulting before jumping back in, it also allowed me to realize that being an outside consultant is what I really enjoy doing versus always working with the same company day after day after day. I'm probably working on about 24 companies right now and get to meet a lot of interesting people and a lot of different interesting companies that are breaking edge or just need a little bit of help. And it's always interesting to find out those new stories that are out there.
So you strike me as someone that could do it all. So I could see you being internal or external or doing both. What is it about you that you think you just love being outside consulting? Maybe what is it internally that is part of you?
Yeah, it's two things. I'm an extrovert, so I enjoy meeting new people and learning new things. The other is problem solving. So every new client has a different problem that I can use my past experience to help solve. So I think it's those two things that really help me enjoy what I do now.
Do you feel like, as someone that worked for themselves, then went and worked corporate, you were more empathetic or tougher on those that were managing you?
Man, I have never thought about that. I've had some really good bosses. What it's allowed me to do is know what a good boss looks like and what a bad boss looks like within 5 minutes of having a consultation with somebody. I can already pinpoint if this is going to be a problem client or if this is going to be a client that I'm going to really enjoy working with. That, I think, has been working with a lot of different managers on the inside. You just pick up on things a little bit quicker. Right. You recognize the red flags faster.
I feel like so when did you feel like you got really good at the art of selecting clients? I know it's not perfect science, but
early on when I moved to Kansas City, coming from California, it's a lot more transactional. And early on in Kansas City, I started to learn what a lot of better bosses really look like and how they empathize with people. And so having those contrasts of being from California and working in Kansas City, that is when I started to pick up on those red flags faster and faster.
I like it. It's blowing my mind that you've lived in, because, you got this Kansas City kind, and then you got your fast moving Jersey, and then you're laid back California. That's so interesting to me. So, all right, guys. Well, first of all, Deborah says, hello and happy holidays. Hello.
Debbie.
I'm just putting this out there, but I get custom ornaments for my kids every year, to the point we have a whole nother tree that's ornaments. and I get them from Deborah every year. So if anybody's looking for last minute customized ornaments, like I pick whatever was big in my kids' life that year. She does them. She does them last minute because I'm not a planner. Jessica says, "Yay, Torree! Torree is amazing. Excited to see her on the program today." And
Red's looking good.
That is private said, "Go Torree." I can't tell you who that is because they're private. That's what happens when you're private on LinkedIn.
That's how big of a fan club she's got. It's private.
Yeah, you got a big fan club here. All right, Torree. Here we are. Last show of the year. So you guys are in good company. A couple years ago, our last show was Les Brown. Last year, we've had some amazing. You guys are in good company. But here's the deal. How did your 2024 goals go? What are you planning for 2025? And how can the Kansas City community help you?
2024 was a banner year for us. We have found support in the business leader community across Kansas and Missouri. More and more business leaders wanting to come to the table and interact and help us with this work, better aligning business with education. Funders have come to the table. And quite frankly, we've grown our team. We've doubled our team in the last year. So as I look ahead into 2025, I see nothing but getting things done. As a team, we look at solutions. We look at trying to fix things, or a lot of times trying to remove the barriers that keep business and education from working well together. And a larger team with more research and data focus will allow us to do that in 2025. But that means the business community has to come to the table and continue giving us that feedback loop and that input that we need to go back to Jeff City and Topeka and say, this is what the business community is looking for in their workforce. And these are the things that we need to do within the education system. So we're hopeful to empower that voice even more in 2025.
What's the one problem? Like if you could fix one problem, just make it go away. What's that one problem you would fix in 2025?
All of these issues end up being politicized in some way, shape, or form. And for me, whether kids are able to come out prepared for life shouldn't be a political agenda item. It should be something that we all care deeply about. And if there was one thing I could fix, I would take education and workforce alignment out of the political lens. I think we'd get a lot more solved. And I think that more people would come to the table if we were able to do that, which is what we strive to do as a nonpartisan organization.
You're very goal-oriented. How do you come up with your goals every year?
I have the best board there is and the best team. And so we work really hard at listening throughout the year. One of the things my team does is we make us loop around Kansas and Missouri to listen to business leaders, lawmakers, education leaders. And then we take their ideas and their feedback back and try to come up with the solutions that we feel we can move the needle on that year. So that's how we come up with our list of solutions and legislation and research. And then we continue to work on that in the fall session as we get lawmakers geared up for the session that starts in May.
Okay, this is just a question because I don't understand it as well. Is it make it harder or easier to get what you need to get done on election years or non-election years?
In education, it's harder. Hard topics or topics that people don't know as much about or are a little more leery about, they steer away from in an election year. As soon as the elections are over this year, I anticipate getting quite a bit done because we can take that off the table and really just talk about how do we get kids ready for high school, high wage jobs in Kansas and Missouri.
Yeah, I thought it might be hard. I just wanted
Good question.
Thanks. Deborah says she definitely agrees with you. She said that when you said those shouldn't be political issues. So. All right.
Or do you think it's because she agrees with getting Christmas ornaments?
No, she said this
I'm
about
just joking.
that.
I know.
Oh, thank you, Aaron.
I know.
Let me
Libby's awesome.
Knowledge. Just kidding. All right, Jeff. How did 2024 go for you? What are you looking forward to in 2025? And how can the Kansas City community help you?
Sure. So 2024 was a great year for us. Our goal was to double in size, and we almost tripled, which was fantastic, unexpected, and created some other issues that we're still trying to solve. Our goal in 25 is to really focus on the business owners. Right now, we have some really great referral sources that use us either for clients that they're working with, or saying, hey, you should use Xylinx, or just making those introductions. Our goal in 25 is to really go after the business owners to have business owners already have heard of us. How people like you can help is just get that word out that, to business owners that Xylinx is around. We're here locally in Kansas City. We're trying to really grow that Kansas City market. You'll see us more at events and things like that in the Kansas City market. It's really something that we haven't tapped in, that we're here local. Why not go after that Kansas City market more? So those are the two things that we're really stressing in 25, and that's how you can help.
And if you're a business owner and you want to get invited to a really cool party at the Rieger, you want to know Jeff Johnson, right?
Yes, we're going to be doing something the second, March 12th. We're solidifying those details. It's the week of the Big 12 tournament, so it kind of coincides with that little party atmosphere. We're going to be, it's just something that we're going to be looking for business owners to come and join. There's no speech or anything like that. We're just going to say, hi, we're Xylinx, and have a good time. So be on the lookout for those invites.
You're very goal-oriented as well. Aaron, sorry, do you have a question?
No, go ahead.
Aaron gets really mad at me and beats me up if I interrupt her.
Obviously.
So you're also very goal-oriented, personally and professionally in the gym. How do you come up with your goals?
I think about where do I want to be in 3 years and start working backwards from that. That 3-year goal will always change. But if you don't make that first step to get to 3 years, you're just kind of going to be meandering. It's like trying to figure out how you're going to get to the treasure without a map if you don't know the first step. So we, as a team, we sit down, what's our 3-year goal? What's our 1-year goal? What's our 6-month goal? And then what's our current quarter goal? And that's how we set up our goals.
Love that. I love that. Okay, well, Scott, look, you got yelled at.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't need to yell at you.
I didn't know she had custom ornaments. She does everything.
She does all the things. Just she's a yes person. Just ask and she does yes. Well, listen, you guys were absolutely fabulous guests to have for the last show of the entire year, because next week it's Christmas Eve and then it's New Year's Eve. And as much as you guys love us, I didn't think anybody would be tuning in, but we will be back on January 7th here. Bestway International Evardy, thank you so much for sponsoring. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Torree, for coming on. Scott, once again, year 5. Thank you so much for being the best co-host ever. And I'm going to say my favorite thing to say for the next 2 weeks. I will see you all next year.
Oh,
thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.